All righty. Welcome to C&V Sunday mornings, the best Sunday morning Comicsgate show out there, because it's pretty much the only Sunday morning Comicsgate show out there. I am happy to have with us today our guest, Aaron Calimeri, who my co-host for Indie Comic Stream, Jeremy Lott, likes to refer to as Aaron Octopus, and I keep telling him he needs to get his cephalopods correct. Calimeri is squid, not octopus, but doesn't matter. I think he does it just because he, for some reason, thinks he can get my goat on that, and I don't know why he thinks that. It's beyond me. But at any rate, we are going to be discussing Aaron's book, More Lethal, here in a little bit. There's some really nice art in this book, and you basically have a blade. Is it Akane? Is her name Akane?
Akane.
Akane is her name, and looks like she's quite the badass. So, alrighty. I will be putting a link for that in the description below here in just a bit. Also need to let you know my book Tilt has reached its stretch goal, $4,000. Reached that the other night. Now both pinups that are going to be included with the stretch goal have now been ordered. This one and this one as well, a virgin version of the cover. So that is on its way. And just to let you all know here, the books have arrived. I've been signing them and putting them in their packaging. And yeah, they are going to be shipping soon, like within 10 days soon. Okay, I hope to have everything here. The deck of cards, one of the perks, is supposed to be arriving within a day or so. So just about everything is here. Lenore has been, my colorist, Lenore King's been signing the pinups that she designed. That will be shipped back to me soon. And yeah. Oh, Aaron, let me ask you, are you married?
Yes.
Ah, okay.
I've been married for 20 years.
Congratulations. I am actually divorced, but and so maybe you're not the best guy to ask this, but do you think I should sign up for this site? I mean, Ukraine singles ready to date. I don't know. I
don't think so. I would not.
Yeah, I don't know, though. It's kind of hard to pass this up. I mean, do you think she comes along with membership or not?
I think this is it seems to be more of a mail order situation.
Mail order? Whatever do you mean?
Like a mail order bride.
Oh, I wonder, can you order them through the internet now too?
Yes, I think
so. All righty. Let's
email order bride.
Thank you, Guy from Red Bank. I really appreciate that. All righty, let's talk a little bit about Hollywood here for just a minute, and then we will get on to your we will get on to your comic book. All righty, let's start with this here, and let me know if you can hear this, because sometimes I may have to. Can you hear that?
I cannot. I don't know if the.
All right, that's.
I don't know if the chat can. They might be able to. I don't.
If you can't hear it, I'm 99% certain that the chat can't. And the problem with sharing your entire screen is there is no button for. There is actually no. It's not the entire screen. Let's share the entire screen. There is audio on that. All right.
Yeah, the chat said they can't hear it.
Okay, chat. All righty, got it. Okay, so let's try this and go here. All right. Now, this is the actress Chloe Grace Moretz. She's talking about how she was. They tried to sexualize her at age 16. It's quite entertaining. All righty, here we go. Wait, this might not be the right one, folks. Hold on here. Let's see here. I want to make sure.
I first started acting when I was about 5, and then Big Mama's House 2, and Mom and my brother helped. I would ever speak out or perform was through these.
Yeah, this is not the right one. Let's see if I got the right one here. I swear I was prepared for this. Darn it. Alrighty. Having my boomer moment. Okay, let's try this one here.
Once I became a functioning adult at 16.
Yeah, this is the one. Alrighty. Can you still hear it?
Yep.
Alrighty, let's get
Once
going.
I became a functioning adult at 16, in movies, I found this sense of pride and respect in standing up for my fellow partners, whether they were male or female, but usually women. In the movies I've made in the last 5 years, which a lot of people, you can say think movies.
Damn it, this is not the right one either. God, I'm having a total boomer moment. I'm so sorry. Ah, goodness. I pride myself on being prepared for my shows, and
I'm gonna make the
maybe this is
steak. Very excited to see what's inside.
Lenore is in the comments making fun of you.
Yeah, well,
I was about 5.5. We would act, and what I knew at that point in time was just playtime. I never really saw it as acting or a job. I first started.
Okay, let's see here. Are you making fun of me, Lenore? Yes. Ah, shut up. Go away. I'll see you on your show tonight at 6:30. Blast. All righty. And I had it earlier. Okay. Well, we are just going to screw this.
And
for
by
just a minute.
by the way, Lenore, I'd love to come on your show if you ever would have me on there.
Yeah, let's go over to this for now, and I will just have you talk about your comic book for a minute here. And yeah, let's do that. And yeah, okay. And okay, go ahead and talk about your comic book for a minute.
Okay, so More Lethal is a black and white manga-sized comic book. It is about a synthetic female swordswoman who has to fight her way through cyber ninjas to rescue her captured master. And I just recently made an announcement that the book is not going to be 32 pages anymore. It's going to be 40 pages. It's $5, 40 pages, and the extra story that we're adding to make it go up to 40 pages is going to be drawn by Doodlebags from Vestige 2.
Outstanding. All righty, let's.
Yep.
All righty, this is who did the cover here?
John Joseph Ball from Super Harem and Death.
All right, that's nice. Now let's take a look at some of the art here. Okay, what's kind of going
by Canales artwork right here.
And is this one of the cyber ninjas?
This girl, this is Akani stabbing through a cyber ninja right here. So this girl is our main character, Akani. She's essentially an android, and she has the ability to sort of level up her skills like a video game character. As she fights, she gains experience, and as her experience increases, she can unlock perks to make her abilities better. And right here, she's beginning her mission to get through these ninjas and get to her master, who's been captured by these like cyber ninja terrorists.
Alrighty, and is this just more cyber ninjas here?
Yep.
All right.
And then this guy is sort of a mini boss. This guy with the chain weapon. He's sort of a mini boss character. She fights a few little mini bosses throughout the story.
Now, what is a mini boss? Is it kind of
Well,
like,
like in a video game, you know how you get to boss fights? It's
No,
kind of
I
a
don't. I
boss
don't play
fight.
video games enough,
Okay.
unfortunately.
Well, it's sort of just a more powered up version of the regular cyber ninjas.
All right.
And they have stronger abilities. They're bigger. They have more weapons, so they're tougher for her to fight.
Gotcha. All right. Now, okay, got more of that here. Hey, what's with the rear end, boy? We're just supposed to ignore that, right?
Well, that actually isn't in the script, so you can either blame or praise Abai Canalis for that.
Well, he just came from doing a super harem, so yeah, we can guess what was on his mind. I think no, I'm not. Wanger's a bad influence, don't you think?
Yeah, actually, Joe Ball did the super harem. This is Abai Canalis from Iron Sights.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah.
But he's still, he's a bad influence on himself.
Gotcha. All right. Now,
This
who did this? Shame on you guys. Shame on you guys.
This one is by PK Fry. He's good. This 40-page comic is broken up into 3 stories. So there's one story. They're all based on Akane, the main character. But so the first story is by Canalis. The second story is drawn by PK Fry from Tusdy Tortillas and also from Grayscale.
Mm-hmm.
And he asked me, he's like, hey, so do you want a promo picture to put on the campaign so people could see my work? And that's all he said. And I said, yeah, do a promo picture so I can put some of your art on the campaign.
You're cutting out a
But
little
it looks
bit.
Okay. But it looks pretty cool though.
Yeah, and this is just a seat for her to sit on, right? That's
yep,
all that's all that implies, right?
Yeah, they're putting her back together and like working on her here.
Yeah. All righty. And okay. Oh, now this is nice. This is
nice
manga style.
This is the trading card that Carla Tornielli from the Grim Reaper made. And this comes free with the comic. Right. With every comic you purchase comes with one trading card.
All right.
So
nice.
And
shame.
This is a print. It's a stretch goal for us. If we reach $3,000, this will be a print that comes with the book for free. Right. This was done by Brandon Diaz from Magic Cop.
Yeah, that is nice in so many ways. Okay, so tell us about the. Actually, let's come back to. I'll let you tell us about the 3 stories in a minute because I finally did find the correct one here. All righty, this is Chloe Grace Moretz about how she was sexualized when she was 16.
Around 15, 16 is when everything changed for me. That's when I started to realize, oh, I'm not just an actor. I'm viewed as an actress. So when I was 16, I was making a movie, and we had already done all the screen tests for the outfits to make sure everything was settled, and they had been sent to the studio, and everyone seemed to be happy with it. There was no issues. And then I show up in my trailer for the first day of set, and I'm getting dressed, and I see my bra there, and I'm like, oh, it's weird. It's a push-up bra. Okay. I'm going to ask the wardrobe girl what this means. And then in front of the push-up bra, I saw 2 chicken cutlets. And I was like, I didn't ask for that. Why is that there? So I walk out into my trailer, and I look at my brother, and I'm like, hey, did anyone mention to you why there's chicken cutlets? I was 16. I had never seen a chicken cutlet. I didn't use them as a kid. And he was like, no, what is in your room? And he was like, you're kidding me. And I was like, maybe it's a joke. Like, maybe this isn't real. And I go out, and I asked the wardrobe girl, and she's like, oh, yeah, I was told to put these in your trailer. I was like, okay, I need a producer. And one of the producers comes in, and my brother is like, what is that? Why is that here? And I was, was this your idea? To the producer. And he or she looked at me and said, this came from higher than me. And I was like, what do you mean? And they're like, it was a studio note. And I was like, okay, what? Like, you're telling me that a group of people looked at a 16-year-old girl in the screen tests, and they said her breast didn't look big enough. And they ordered wardrobe to bring me 2 chicken cutlets and a push-up bra at 16. And I was like, okay, I'll walk, but I'm not wearing that. And how dare you? And the note went back, and no one came into my trailer and told me to do that. But I was like, I won't do that. And my brother was disgusted. And I just was really, really insecure about it on that movie. And I felt really creeped out. And I think that was my first realization of, like, it was the first time I really felt insecure, I would say. It was the first time I looked at myself in the mirror and I was like, well, is it not right?
It's like body shape.
Yeah. In the opposite way, like, because my boobs weren't big enough, because I was 16 and a child. Like, they would never go up to a guy and give him a sock for his pants. No.
Come on.
They'll give me chicken cutlets to put in my bra.
Oh.
And from then on, every young actress I work with, I'm like, watch yourself and just know that every decision is yours. And if you feel uncomfortable, you walk off set. And that's a fact. As I tell every young girl or any woman in this industry who is maybe newer to it, I'm like, if you don't want to do it, you don't have to do anything. You can leave. You can leave. Who cares? But the first time you leave and the first time you make the decision to say no, you realize that you can. And all it takes is that first time.
Well,
Dear God. I mean, these people are so full of themselves and full of it. And here's what I mean. All right. Now, all right. I get that. Yeah. First of all, let's state without any hesitation here, there are a lot of sexual weirdos and creeps in Hollywood that take advantage of young women and young boys. All right. No doubt about it. And hey, feeling a little insecure in that situation. Sure. Okay. I can understand that. But to complain that she's 16 and a child. All right. Here's kind of where I'm having a little bit of trouble with this. All right. Here is her at 17. Now, I don't know, maybe from 16 to 17, you grow right into adult. But here she is at, this is the Teen Choice Awards of all things. And she's showing off a fair amount of midriff here, okay? And she's having a problem that they want to augment her a little bit. Come on, give me a break. And then, but it gets better here. It gets better, all right? This is from her movie, Hick, all right? Now, Hick came out in 2011. Chloe Grace Moretz was born in 1997, which means that she is 14, not 16, 14 in this movie. And she may even be 13 because, sometimes it takes about a year to make a movie. So, all right, she's perfectly fine with this wardrobe choice, not to mention, wearing, these things look like they're about as hiked up as far as they can go without showing anything. And she's holding a gun. I mean, what kind of, symbolism is that supposed to be? She's perfectly fine with that at 14, but she's telling us that augmenting her chest area, that's scandalous for her at age 16. and that she's insecure and that she's just a child. If you want to know, I mean, these people are just, they are unbelievable. I mean, they will just do anything to play to the victim card and the, I'm sorry. I'm just, you take it from here. Your thoughts, Aaron.
Well, I don't have anything against her. Like I only know her from Kick-Ass. But in that interview, she came off to me as very disingenuous, and I think she was lying. And I don't think she was lying about the bra. I just think she was lying about being horrified and her family being horrified. And I think she's just kind of like doing a sort of a feminist virtue signal.
Yeah, actually, let's go back to the video for a second, because now that you say that, I'm thinking about how many times did she kind of look down, you know, like she's looking for a story, like she's making something up. Let's see if that actually happened, because I remember if you, I mean, I don't know, is that kind of what you picked up on, or?
Well, it just seemed like she was acting.
Yeah,
it seemed like acting.
And she's an actress, so it can't be entirely, you can't tell for sure. But let's see here. Let's see if we can pick up on a few things in the body language here. All right, I have the. All right. You know, let's go to. Sure. Let's try this again. Oh wait, gotta back up.
And they probably shouldn't be doing too much of that kind of stuff because she was so young.
That's
I don't disagree with that. I mean, you know, let's face it, we are sexualizing people way too young. I would agree with that. But the other issue here is she's had no problem with them doing something like they did with Hick at age 14.
Right.
And now, I mean, yeah, okay, right off the bat, look, she's looking down here. I mean, this is, you know, second one in this, at least in this part of the interview. All right, so let's, and her eyes are shooting to her left, I think here. Let's take a look at this.
Is when everything changed for me. That's when I started to realize, oh, I'm not just an actor. I'm viewed as an actress.
She's also blinking an awful lot.
So when I was 16,
again, looking down, looking to her left, or right, actually.
We had already done all the screen tests for the outfits to make sure everything was settled, and they had been sent to the studio.
Looking down again.
Everyone seemed to be happy with it. There was no issues. And then I show up in my trailer for the first day of set, and I'm getting dressed, and I see my bra there, and I'm like, oh, it's weird. It's a push-up bra. Okay. I'm going to ask the wardrobe girl what this means. And then in front of the push-up bra, I saw 2 chicken cutlets.
Boy, look at that. She just looked down. Wow.
Why is that there? So I walk out into my trailer.
Looking down.
And I look at my brother, and I'm like, hey, did anyone mention to you why there's chicken cutlets? I was 16. I had never seen a chicken cutlet. I didn't use them as a kid. And he was like, no. What is in your room? And he was like, you're kidding me. And I was like, maybe it's a joke. Like, maybe this isn't real. And I go out, and I ask the wardrobe girl, and she's like, oh, yeah, I was told to put these in your trailer. I was like, okay, I need a producer. And one of the producers comes in, and my brother is like, what? What is that? Why is that here? And I was like, was this your idea? To the producer. And he or she looked at me and said, this came from higher than me. And I was like, what do you mean? And they were like, it was a studio note. And I was like, okay, what? Like, you're telling me that a group of people looked at a 16-year-old girl in the screen tests, and they said her breast didn't look big enough. And they ordered wardrobe to bring me 2 chicken cutlets and a push-up bra at 16. And I was like, no, And I immediately was like, if you want them to come into my trailer and tell me to put on that, okay, then I'll walk. But I'm not wearing that. And how dare you? And the note went back, and no one came into my trailer and told me to do that. But I was like, I won't do that. And my brother was disgusted. And I just was really, really insecure about it on that movie. And I felt really creeped out.
Wow.
And I think that was my first realization of like, it was the first time I really felt insecure.
I mean, look how much she is looking down and to her right a lot.
I was like, well,
I mean, my gosh.
is it not right?
Yeah, I think you're right, Aaron. I don't think she's telling the truth at all.
In the opposite way, like, because my boobs weren't big enough, because I was 16 and a child. Like, they would never go up to a guy and give him a sock for his pants.
Yeah, I mean, she just accesses her. Her eyes go right to the when she's thinking. I mean, look at that again when she's making up the guy about
sock for his pants.
Guy,
a
guy telling a guy to put a sock in his pants. All right, look where her eyes go to when she says that, because that's something she's clearly imagining, right? You know, she's not referencing an actual incident here. She's imagining this. Look at her eyes.
Go up to a guy and give him a sock for his pants.
Okay, they shoot to her right, and her eyes have been shooting to her right all the time.
Give me chicken cutlets to put in my bra.
When she's talking about the chicken cutlets. So yeah, I agree. Yeah, there they go again.
Every young actress I work with, I'm like,
there they go.
Watch yourself and just know that every decision is yours. And if you,
yeah, I think you're absolutely right. Oh, you dropped out. I'm sorry.
Yep.
Are you there?
Yep.
I think you're absolutely right. I think she's lying. I mean, when and I think the telltale part there is, the sock in the pants. She's clearly making that up. Her eyes shoot twice to her right, and her eyes have been when something that she's referencing that, she's imagining, she's making it up in her mind, and the eyes have been shooting to her right consistently when she's talking about the chicken cutlets and the push-up bra, and not to mention all the looking down. All right. Yeah, I think you're right. I think she's full of it. I think she's absolutely full of it. I don't know what movie she's talking about.
I was gonna ask if she was talking about Kick-Ass or a different film.
I mean, I'm guessing it might have been Kick-Ass. I mean, but I don't know. Or it wouldn't have been Kick-Ass because she was very young when she did Kick-Ass.
Maybe was she younger?
Yeah, no, it might have been Kick-Ass 2 that she was talking about, because that would make a little more sense. Let me see. What movie was she making in around 2013? You can look that up real quick.
But really, it's Hollywood, and they're all weird. So I just kind of like let them do whatever weird stuff they're gonna do. Like if it was that bad, her parents, should be on top of that stuff. Like
there are 4 movies it says here that she made. One is Movie 43. I've actually never seen any of these. Movie 43, Kick-Ass 2, and Carrie were ones that she made in 2013, along with the one called Girl Rising, but that was a documentary. Oh, I can bet with that. And she was the narrator, Girl Rising. Yeah, I can bet.
Okay.
I can guess what that's about. So yeah, it could have been any one of those movies. But I don't think she's telling the truth. I think you're absolutely right. I think she's full of it. And I mean, this the body language, it really gives it away, especially when she talks about a guy in the sock in the pants. She's clearly making that up. Yeah. What about Boogie Nights and Marky Mark? Yeah. Well, yeah, but that was only one time, only one time, so it doesn't count, I never saw actually Kick-Ass wasn't a half bad movie. Now I heard bad things.
I liked it. I thought it was good.
I enjoyed it, and I haven't bothered seeing Kick-Ass 2 because the trailer looked bad on that one. I've only seen her Kick-Ass and Carrie remake. I wouldn't watch the Carrie remake. I mean, Carrie, the first movie made by Brian De Palma was really good, and I just, I've learned not to watch remakes of movies that were really good the first time around. I've learned that the hard way more than once. So, I don't think she's telling the truth. I think she is. I'm curious as to when this. Let me see. When was this interview posted? This interview would have been, yeah, this is interviewed 2020. So no doubt she's playing to the, the whole Me Too movement and so forth. And I have to admit, I mean, if you're not watching carefully, if you're not, if Aaron hadn't said, I think she's making it up, I wouldn't have even thought of looking at her body language. Yeah.
I mean, she might not be making, I'm not saying she's definitely making it up, but like, I just feel like she's really just virtue signaling, like being really like feminist, No,
I
think like she has a point that they shouldn't be doing that stuff, but also Hollywood, they're always trying to make people look better for whatever reason. And if it was a movie like Kick-Ass, with Kick-Ass, she was young and she wore a mask, and it's possible that they would try to make her breasts look a little bit like just stick out a little bit so that she wouldn't look boyish, because they want people to know she's a girl.
But again, okay, I get that. And I agree that, yeah, we sexualize young women and to some extent young men too much these days. And I mean, too much starts with the minute you do it the first time. I agree with that. That said, if I recall from Kick-Ass, there are plenty of times when she's dressed in very tight spandex tights in that movie. And I guess she didn't have a problem with that. And, again, this is from her movie. Hick, which she did when she was either 13 or 14. I mean, she didn't stand up and have a problem with that. I mean, what's the difference? I mean, at least in terms of sexualizing someone, I mean, yeah, okay, granted, she has to wear some augmentation with the bra and everything, whichever movie that was. But I mean, you're just in terms of sexualization, there's no difference other than you're dealing with different parts of the body here. But I mean,
well, and also you gotta think too, if it's a movie like Kick-Ass, there are going to be teenagers watching it. So, I mean, now, but maybe like they were trying to make her look more attractive to the teen boys watching. Yeah, I don't know. I've only seen her in the Kick-Ass movies, and I don't know if I've seen her in anything else. And when she was young like that, I never saw her as like a sexual object or anything. Like, I was not attracted to her as a young teen.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's to do that. I mean, to feel that way is a little gross, I mean, you wait till, she's an older woman but yeah, I don't know. I just, one, I don't think even if it was true story, I don't think she has a leg to stand on, or at the very least you have to say, well, why was that a problem? But some of these earlier movies like this one, not when you were younger. And if you're a child at 16, you're definitely a child at 14. And the second thing is, I mean, I think you're right. I just don't think that, she's telling the truth. So,
well, at that age, the responsibility lies on the adults. So, if something like that was going on and it was inappropriate, I don't know, like, if her parents are around or not, like, but if her parents were putting her in movies, they have to make sure that she's safe and they know she's a kid. I mean, it's on her parents, and it's on the producers too.
Oh yeah, I agree with all of that. I agree with all of that. The brother, though, was around when she was 16. Wasn't the brother around when the older brother around when she was 14? I mean, what's up, big guy? What's up? All right, go ahead. Charles, hey, bud.
To be honest, if that's the worst, it's kind of sad, but if that's the worst thing that happened to her in Hollywood, then she's actually doing pretty well. I mean, it's kind of sad to say.
Yeah, I agree. All righty, let's move on to something else, and then we'll move back to your story here, and let's move to just go to entire screen since we don't need sound for this one. And this is a letter. See how well we can see it up on the. How well can you read it on the screen here? No, not this. Sorry. Are you able to see that on the screen?
Yeah, I can read it, and I'm on phone, so it should be.
Okay, this is actually from a number of public health professionals and also students in public health classes that sign, or public health students in like grad programs who sign this. And it's an open letter advocating for an anti-racist public health response to demonstrations against systemic injustice occurring during the COVID-19 pandemic. All righty. And basically what this letter does is it is trying to make an excuse for protesters, even though protesters who are protesting the killing of George Floyd, even though they are risking the spread of the Mexican beer virus, have to call it that on YouTube. On April 30, heavily armed and predominantly white protesters entered the state capitol building in Lansing, Michigan, protesting stay-at-home order and calls for widespread public masking to prevent the spread of COVID-19. Infectious disease physicians and public health officials publicly condemned these actions and privately mourned the widening rift between leaders in science and a subset of the communities that they serve. As of May 30, we are witnessing continuing demonstrations in response to ongoing, pervasive, and lethal institutional racism set off by the killings of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor, among many Black lives taken by police. A public health response to these demonstrations is also warranted, but this message must be wholly different from the response to white protesters resisting stay-at-home orders. Infectious disease and public health narratives adjacent to demonstrations. I always love the term narrative, right? Narratives. Adjacent to demonstrations against racism must be consciously anti-racist, and infectious disease experts must be clear and consistent in prioritizing an anti-racist message. Let's see.
It's funny that they say that, because like that they're saying racist things as they say be anti-racist, because they're talking about white protesters and stuff like that.
I mean,
I live in Michigan, so I've been seeing all this stuff.
Okay, to the extent possible, we support. To the extent possible, we support the application of these public health practices during demonstrations that call attention to the pervasive lethal force of white supremacy. However, as public health advocates, we do not condemn these gatherings as risky for COVID-19 transmission. We support them as vital to the national public health and to the threatened health, specifically of Black people in the United States. We can show that support by facilitating safest protesting practices without detracting from the demonstrators' ability to gather and demand change. This should not be confused with a permissive stance on all gatherings, particularly protests against stay-at-home orders. These actions not only oppose public health interventions, but are also rooted in white nationalism and run contrary to the respect for Black lives. God.
It's all right. Nonsense.
Yeah, it's nonsense. And I wanted to show this as well. This is Evie Harris, co-organizer of Reopen Maryland protest. She was one of the organizers of Maryland's version of what happened in Michigan. Now, I don't know about you, Aaron, but I'm kind of guessing she doesn't have a Klan outfit somewhere in the back of her closet, you know? God, idiots. But basically what they're saying here is, racism is a bigger public health threat than they almost said it here. Yeah. Black people are twice as likely to be killed by white supremacy. Yeah, here it is. White supremacy is a lethal public health issue that predates and contributes to COVID-19. So what they're basically saying is that, white supremacy, racism is a bigger public health issue than than COVID-19. And, you know, the thing is here, I have to say, looking at that, I almost feel scammed. I mean, I don't know about you, but I didn't work for 7 weeks. I had to rely on my 401k. And granted, I'm kind of one of the lucky ones probably in that regard. I consider myself, to be lucky, but I don't know about you, but I feel scammed. I mean, all these people who are saying the stay-at-home protests were bad because they spread COVID, it could spread the COVID-19. That Donald Trump and the Republicans are bad for wanting to hold their convention in either August or maybe September because of all the people it brings together and the threat of COVID-19 from that. But all of a sudden, the minute a political issue that they agree with comes up, oh, well, that's more important. And hey, we can come up with ways to wear masks and socially distance in protests, which you can't really do that much. But all of a sudden, we've got all these ways that, that we can make COVID-19 not as transmittable. And, this issue is just more important. I'm sure the folks that were protesting the stay-at-home orders thought their issue was more important, that liberty was more important. The Republicans can say the same thing about their conventions. And at the end of the day, I kind of feel scammed by this, I mean, I think people running their small businesses and so forth, running any business is as important, because that's how, we feed ourselves, keep a roof over our head. I'm sorry. I'm about ready to lose it on this one. And I feel scammed reading something like that. It's like, why did I have to stop work for 7 weeks? For this nonsense.
I was lucky and did not have to stop work. I'm considered an essential worker.
Mm-hmm.
But I felt the entire time that there never should have been a nationwide or statewide lockdowns. I do not agree with any of that forced lockdown stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm strongly against it. And I know that the disease is real, but I think it's extremely blown out of proportion.
Mm-hmm.
And I know people have died from it, but people die from lots of diseases that are very bad and very sad. But to lock the nation down for this was ridiculous.
I mean, absolutely. And I agree. I think now that we've started to let the lockdown up, how often do you go out and you see 90% of the people wearing face masks? People got the message. All right. I mean, they're not dumb. All right.
Yeah.
They will, if people are saying you really need to start wearing a mask because there's a problem out there, they're going to do it. If you need, look at all the grocery stores and all the other places that were saying, they would put the barriers in front of the clear barriers in front of the checkout line. And it's not the only place. I mean, I went into the comic book store for the first time the other day. They had those barriers in front of all the people and all the clerks. They and just about everyone in there was wearing their mask. And how many and there's little signs on the floor that say, please, 6 feet apart. I mean, people aren't stupid. They know how to do these things and they will do them, I was interviewing for the newspaper I work for, a woman who finally got to reopen her salon. And she was saying to me, so many of the women that work here are single moms and they have, so few, if any other means of support. And even when we can open, we're still only at 50% because capacity, because we can only keep, we have to have the distance and we can only have so many people in the place. But the protesters, you watch the thing, there's no distance between these people. Oh, they're all wearing masks. Plenty of them aren't wearing masks, probably more so than when you go into the grocery store or a salon. It's amazing how utterly, sorry, my kid is here, but I'll say this very clearly, quietly so he can't hear. How fucked up some people's priorities are. I mean, seriously, you can't help but understand. I can understand why people come off as cynical about the media, about experts, about all this stuff when just on a dime they turn around and all of a sudden getting together and not worrying as much about or the concern about, you know, COVID-19 transmission takes a big backseat to you know, to these protests and everything else we did, you know, for 7 weeks, you know, shutting down our economy, 20 million people out of work, not to mention, you know, all the other things, you know, possible increases in suicide rates. I'm not sure if that happened yet, but it might have. Not to mention, you know, how many people now have relapsed into alcoholism and drug addiction, because, you know, one of the big things about dealing with that is socializing. That is going to your meeting, right? Having, you know, being around friends and stuff like that, so that, you know, there are support groups with you. Well, you know, all the Alcoholics Anonymous and Narcan meetings, those all had to end. All right. All of that is something we'll put up with so that this disease won't spread. But the minute it's time to go out and protest something that, you know, that the left is in favor of protesting, you know, all that's, I'm sorry, I feel absolutely scammed. And as you can tell, it really irritates the living crap out of me. Sorry. But yeah. I mean, yeah, you're right. It is fudge up. All righty, let's go back to one other quick comment here. This is on the Chloe Grace Moretz thing, and then we'll let you finish up with the stories in your book. And she got asked to wear fake. The two Coreys, among God knows how many other teen boys, got substantially worse treatment, but at least they didn't get asked to stuff a sock. Yeah, I mean,
well, even in the in the movie Stand By Me, they do there's like a scene where one of the boys gets leeches in his underwear.
Oh yeah.
There's I mean, there's movies where, I don't know, there's movies where boys are exploited, you know.
No, I mean, someone point. Well, if you go, there's a movie that I've never watched the full movie, but I remember seeing the first movie, but it was a different director. It was Jeepers Creepers 2, different director than the second one. The second movie, the director was a convicted pedophile, and you can see in that movie, in certain shots, there is an awful lot of attention. The camera is very heavily focused on the young boy in the movie, so. Yeah, I mean, there's that stuff that does happen, and I just, you know,
and that doesn't make what happened to Chloe, like, it doesn't make it okay.
No,
but you know,
of course not.
You have to take a kind of a perspective on this and just realize, yeah, Hollywood is messed up. It should be fixed, but it probably never will be. If you don't want that kind of stuff happening, stay away from it. Keep your kids away from it. If you got a kid that's thinking about getting into acting, or you want to get your kid into acting, be careful. Stay on top of it. I think that's the best thing to take away from what Chloe said is, don't let it happen to you. And hopefully she, like, if it really did happen to her and she's really, really hurt by it, like, hopefully she can get help to work through whatever happened. And it's okay for her to, if that really happened to her, it's okay for her to come out and say it. If she's lying about it, then that's really a bad thing.
And I think stupid Newfies, I think the point that he's driving home there is that there is definitely a pedophile culture in Hollywood, and that's never gotten anywhere near the attention that the Me Too movement has gotten. Not to say that the Me Too movement shouldn't have gotten attention, and that people like Harvey Weinstein shouldn't be getting their quote unquote comeuppance and all that entails. Of course, absolutely, because that is wrong too. But you know, the stuff that happened to the two Coreys, they aren't the only ones. And,
right. Exactly.
And that is as bad. I think actually kind of worse, because these are kids. And I'm not saying forcing yourself on a grown woman is not heinous or immoral or shouldn't be punished with prison time. Of course it should. But, you know, the trauma, I think, to a kid is probably worse. And I think that arguably at least makes it worse. And that has never been cleaned up. So, all righty, let's finish up with your talking a little bit more about the story in your comic book here. We'll just go right back to the top here real quick. This is More Lethal. And you said you have 3 stories in one, correct?
Yep. Yeah, so the first story is kind of like what I used to pitch the entire book. I used the first story where Akane has to fight through these cyber ninjas to get to her captured master. And then the second story is drawn by PK and written by me. And that one, she has to fight an evil version of a Blade Girl. Because she's a noble, like a good, honorable Blade Girl. And there is a corrupted one that she has to fight against. So that story is a story of sort of revenge and redemption for her, because one of her someone who's really close to her is killed, and she has to is killed by the evil Blade Girl. And she has to fight that evil Blade Girl and get revenge and redemption. And then the third story, I'm trying not to give away too much because it all stems from the first story.
I see.
They kind of all go together. But the third story, she has to fight a new mysterious foe, but that foe, there's something familiar about that foe, but I don't want to give it away. And that story is only going to be 6 pages. The first 2 stories are each 15 pages. The third story is only 6 pages, and it's going to be drawn by Doodlebags. And then there's going to be chapter break pieces drawn by Joe Ball that are going to be fully rendered artwork that's going to be really beautiful. And that's going to fill out the 40. There isn't going to be any like filler stuff in it. Like there isn't really going to be any like back matter with like just like extra like sketches and stuff. This is just going to be like all content and then like some really beautiful art from Joe Ball added in. And it's going to be just it's not really a like a super philosophical comic or like it's just an action story, really cool. It's got evil, it's got good, it's just kind of an old school comic of just kicking butt and fighting, killing people. Just crazy stuff that I usually do. Just in case, because I think people might start like kind of doubting that I'm actually going to do this because it's only a $5 comic and there's a lot of content. I've already fulfilled Cybershock. So I have a history of fulfillment on a book that did not make very much money, and I fulfilled the book. It didn't have a whole lot of backers, but almost everyone who's gotten the book enjoyed the book and was happy with it. The print quality is excellent. I feel very confident saying the print quality of the book was excellent as far as thickness of paper and the quality of printing. There were, like you had said, there was issues with the lettering, which will be fixed in future projects. Like the lettering will be very readable in More Lethal, and in Cybershock 2, when Cybershock 2 hits, the lettering will be very readable. So yeah, this book's coming out. So check it out, guys, because here's
Cybershock. I can attest that this one did get fulfilled. And yeah, Jeremy and I reviewed it about 2 weeks ago. We really liked it. This is when Aaron says he's not going to put a lot of extra stuff in there, a lot of previews or whatever. He is quick and to the point. You get kind of your traditional comic that doesn't have a lot of the frilly nonsense in it. He gets straight to the point. He gets straight to his stories, and it's well worth it. I just dropped the link in the chat. The link I actually did put it in the description below, so it is down there. Yeah, give us some last words here.
If anyone still wants Cybershock and didn't get in on the campaign, I'm selling it for the same price that it was on the campaign. Until the leftovers are gone, because it was just a single print run. It was 100 copies of the standard, 25 of the limited. That's all there'll ever be of those first printings. Any future printings will have a different cover. So if you want the first printings and you want to get in on Cybershock, just DM me on Twitter at Aaron Calimeri, and I'm selling it for the same price it was sold for on the campaign until they're gone. I think I've got 6 special editions left and 10 regular editions left. So yeah, get on that if you want. Get in on More Lethal. More Lethal's live on Indiegogo right here, as you can see. It's only $5. The shipping is cheap. The shipping's $5 in the United States, $10 worldwide. The book's got a lot of great artists in it. We got Joe Ball, we got Ibai Canales, PK, Doodle Bags. We got Carla Tornielli did the trading card everyone gets. If we get to $3,000, everyone will get a free print that Brandon Diaz already drew, the Magic Cop artist. Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. So check it out. Like, even if you think you might not like it, please just check it out on Indiegogo just in case. And we're gonna deliver something cool. Like, it's gonna have really cool art, really cool story, characters, all kinds of stuff. It's gonna be sweet.
Alrighty. I'm going to have one last question for you here. Stupid Newbie just looked it up and said Jeepers Creepers 1, 2, and 3 were all the same director. I stand corrected. That is correct. The name is Victor Salva, and he was actually, I just looked it up, he was convicted of inappropriate sexual behavior with a 12-year-old in one of his other movies. So, yeah, he is a convicted pedophile, and anyway, Jeepers Creepers are creepy movies in more ways than one. Alrighty, my last so thanks for the correction, I appreciate it. His comic book is definitely nice. Alrighty, last question. Your very first one, I think it was Starblades, is that correct? Or was it
Starblades is Kyle Ritter's comic. My first comic campaign was Extractors. It failed to fund. It failed to fund, and there were problems with production, so after it failed to fund, everyone got refunded by Indiegogo, so there was no. I didn't get any money.
I'm curious, what lessons did you learn from your first one to Cybershock? Tell it. So if someone was to be starting out their first time, what lessons would they learn? Did you learn that you were successful your second time, and now obviously successful your third time as well? So give us 1 or 2 lessons.
I learned not to try to promise as you could see, I'm promising a lot on this, but it's all in one book. There's not a lot of extra stuff because we promised all kinds of extra stuff on Extractors, things that would have been very difficult to fulfill, things that would have been very costly to do. So what I learned is, the best thing for me to do right now is offer a book and a trading card, and that's my main tier. And then not to go too far for me, because I don't have a lot of money and resources. So for me, it's just to keep it simple, keep the tiers very easily understood, know what you can and can't do. So that was what I learned from going from Extractors to Cybershock. And then now from Cybershock to More Lethal, I'm learning, make sure the files are very readable, make sure you don't mess around with lettering, make sure that you stay on top of making sure that the book is readable, because that's the most important thing to the story aspect of it. And that's not an indictment on David Vila, who did the letters for Cybershock. He's going to be doing the letters for Cybershock 2. It's just that was my oversight on the lettering problem. And so I learned, to pay attention to the details a little bit more. I'm not the best advice person because I'm not really that good at promoting my projects, so they don't really like make a bunch of money so far. So I really don't have a lot of experience as far as like fulfilling a large campaign, but I can fulfill in the hundreds.
Yeah.
So I've proved that I could do that. So, yeah, I just learned to keep it simple, especially on your first go rounds.
All righty. Anything else you'd like to add before we end this stream?
I want to thank everyone who has backed the book. A lot of people have supported me on both this book and on Cybershock. I want to thank all the fans, all the customers, all the people like you that platform small creators. It really helps a lot. Like I never would have sold this many copies without having people like you promoting the book.
Well, you're welcome.
And then
it's good stuff. You deserve it.
And yeah, if Lenore would have me on, that would be great. So she doesn't have to, but I'm just throwing it out there.
Have you tried going on Peter Sameti's program on Monday evenings? He has a he'll usually do it. He has a show on Monday evenings, and he'll usually send it out on Twitter, a sign up thing around like 9 a.m. I think on Monday mornings. And if you haven't been on his show, you can get on for like.
I'll look into it. I look. Biggest like comic book idols are your boy Zach and Peter Sameti.
Yeah, well, no, Sameti, I got on there and I did a little bit of business off of it. So those are the things you want to kind of keep your eye on. But
I'll check that out for sure.
Yeah, if you haven't been on it before, you should be able to get on. And so I would check that out. Okay, Aaron, thank you very much for joining us today. We tackled some difficult topics, and I appreciate your patience on that. And alrighty, folks, we'll be back here next week. Tuesday we'll be having Indie Comic Stream, and I will have a new Comics and Variety video up tomorrow morning, dealing with Comicsgate drama. So. Come back, visit this channel, subscribe if you haven't yet, and thank you to everyone who showed up. And links to both Aaron's More Lethal and My Tilt are in the description below. Back them if you haven't. Alrighty, take care, everyone.